talk to the 50, 60-year-old now.
Yeah.
Let's shift our attention to the 20,
Yeah.
30-year-olds, maybe
Yeah.
even, 18, 19, younger than
Yeah.
that. As you have such a dynamic work environment, and you work with many of these emerging leaders or next generational leaders, what would you say to them as they begin their journey?
Yeah.
What are some things that they need to know or just be aware of?
Yeah, for sure. Well, from everything that I've studied, watched, listened, and then from talking to younger leaders, one of the most important things to them is the idea of being coached and mentored. Like that's one of the greatest values that when I talk to my millennial friends and my Gen Z friends, what they really want from older generations is not a finger wagging, but a coaching.
Yeah, I would even say it's probably one of the biggest prayers
Yeah.
that I've seen
Yeah.
young dudes come to me about. Is
Yeah.
like, I just want to mentor,
Yeah.
I want to coach.
Yeah, yeah. And so your question is, what's my advice to them? And so the very first thing I would say is to listen. It's to listen. If you're looking for a mentor and you find a mentor, when they're coaching you and giving you advice and helping you with some direction, it's to really listen. And when I say listen, what I mean so often is when someone older brings a challenge to a younger person, and this is not millennials, this is when I was 20 and 30, I struggled to listen. I needed someone when I was your age to tell me to zip it, to listen, and to take action, even when I didn't like it.
Wow.
And really that's my advice to the generations coming up. We all think that we know it in our 20s and 30s. That's nothing new. It's been that way for hundreds of years. And I think if you really want to thrive as a young leader, it's listen and take action. Because, look, if I say, hey man, I think you should go left instead of right, and you listen to that and you go left and you come back and say, hey man, I went left like you said, thank you for that. I'm going to want to keep pouring into you, but if I see you on the road and you turned right when I said to turn left, and then you come back to me a week later and say, hey, can you help me with this? And will you be my mentor? I'm going to be like, you're not listening. You're not listening. And so I would say one is to listen. This is advice to the younger person.
Yeah, this is great.
Two, it's to work hard. I think really put in the effort. And whether that's serving at your church, whether that's working hard at your job, I would say aspire to be the hardest working person in your environment, whether that's in serving or working at your job. That is very countercultural to say that today. Be the hardest. Culture is saying, actually, let's find ways to work less and do other things on the side and pursue your passion. And that's okay. I mean, I think those things are fine. But I'm going to say something different. Because when I see someone who works really hard, you know what I want to do? I want to pour into them.
Wow.
I want to invest in them. I want to be there for them. I want to do almost anything that they want because they work. Can I say ass on this? Is that okay? Yeah, okay, all right.
I've been waiting for somebody to cuss.
They're working their ass off, and so I see that, and I love that, and I appreciate it. You know what? They're a serious person. Yeah. And so my advice would be, man, up your game on your work ethic. And so listen, work hard. The third is you want a mentor, pursue the mentor. You got to pursue the mentor. And I'll just talk church world right now, and that is, I hear it all the time from young guys. They want a mentor, but I never see them around church. They're never serving, or they're attending once every 2-3 months. And it's like, you want a mentor? Go hold babies. Go hold babies, because there's going to be a guy in there holding babies that's older than you that you're going to build a friendship. And that's the natural pathway to that mentorship. Or you're going to park cars. Or you're going to go lead worship. Whatever your gifting is, that's how you find a mentor.
It's showing up to the spaces where the mentors are, rather than expecting them to come to you. Of like, hey, can you do coffee with me? It's like,
dial a mentor doesn't work. A mentor doesn't work. You really need to build an organic, natural relationship and find the mentor that way.
Real, man.
And so I think those are just a few ways that I would encourage our young people. I'll say this because I don't know if we'll get there, but in our board meeting, our third board meeting for the year was last week. And most of that board meeting was our next gen leaders presenting in our board meeting strategy, metrics, where we're heading. And my final message to our board was the next generation is now and they're ready to lead. They're ready. They're ready. This issue of them not being ready, it's not true. They're ready. Our job is to empower them and to create opportunities, and then let them go. We have to let them go. And so I just, for younger listeners, people that are watching that are younger, I just want to say you guys and girls, you're ready. And I believe that. I really believe that. And I'm excited. I work with so many young leaders, and I get so excited that the best part of my day is these conversations with younger leaders, which is a bit baffling of why the church historically doesn't pour into younger leaders, because to me it's fun. Like, I have fun. I love, I tell people, I at this stage of my life and career, I see myself on the sideline of the championship game.
Oh, wow.
Watching people that I've coached and I've mentored they're playing the game. It's the championship game. I've got a drink in one hand, popcorn in the other, and the clock is ticking down. I'm going to use a soccer metaphor. I'm a soccer guy. And one of the guys that I've been coaching is dribbling the ball, and it goes 3-2. He scores a goal at 1. The clock ticks to 0. I throw my drink up in the air, my popcorn. I run onto the field. I pick him up, and I'm carrying him. And, his face is in I would say the newspaper. No one knows what that is. His face is on, the news, whether it's TV or on the internet or whatever. You get my point. You don't even see me. You might see my balding head maybe in the shot.
And they see you jumping up and down. You're blurred out in the background.
And that's the role that I'm playing at this stage of my life. And I love that. And for me, that's fun. And so my exhortation to older people is to spend the rest of your life investing in young people, because, they're ready.
Cheering and investing.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. Something you had mentioned earlier about pouring into young people and young people having maybe some frustrations as they look for mentors, or even as their ideas are brought to the table and maybe not necessarily received.
Yeah.
What kind of coaching would you give to a young leader who is in a position where he just feels like he can't lead up, right? Because you're in the executive pastor role, and I imagine there's moments where you have to work with your lead pastor, and there may be friction. But you lead up really well, and many of these young leaders come to you with great ideas, and some maybe not so great ideas, and you have to navigate that. What would you say to the young leader who's trying to lead their mentor, their coach, or even just lead an organization from the number 2 chair?
Yeah, I would say if you're frustrated because things aren't going your way based on the scenario that you've laid out, I would say to the younger leader, look inward and not outward. Start there, look inward and not outward. The tendency for all of us, no matter what your age is to look out. It's to look at someone else. It's to look at someone else and say, oh, they don't like me, that's why they don't listen to my ideas. Or because I'm young, they don't listen. Or
they take it personally.
Take it personally. And so what I would say is look inward, meaning evaluate self and say, what do I need to do differently to get my ideas to push through? See, the real issue is probably a lack of influence. So if you're on my team and you're frustrated because your ideas aren't making it through with me, I would translate to say, you lack influence with me. So the question for you is, why do you lack influence with me? Not what's wrong with Dan. And so is it, if you don't show up to work on time ever, should you expect people to allow you to influence them? No, I would say. If you struggle with truth and character and integrity, should you expect your boss to allow you to influence them? I would say no. If you're not proving results and having an impact, why would you expect to have influence? If you don't treat people well, why would you expect to have influence? So I think it's a matter of looking inward, asking for coaching, and ask the question, why do I not have the influence that I have? And if you're willing to do that in humility and you make adjustments, I guarantee you will start to influence people in your organization. Now, if you're in a bad organization, you work for a bad leader, then you need to go. Don't stay and fight and try to change whoever is in charge. I would say leave.
Wow.
But 8 out of 10 times it's not that. It's me, and I need to figure out what am I doing that's causing me to not have influence. And I'm just, for those that are listening, if that's you, if you don't have the influence, just work hard and probe self. Ask God to show you. Ask people around you, what am I doing? How are you experiencing me? It's a great question, by the way. Ask people around you that you work with, how are you experiencing me?
Wow.
Do I talk over you? Am I sort of mean-spirited? Am I two-faced? What is it? How are you experiencing
How's
me?
my tone?
How's my tone? If you're married, I call it the T word in marriage, right? My tone may get really loud and big.
Yeah.
How's my body language? That affects how people experience us. And so that would be my advice is really look inward.
Yeah.
Most of the time it's me as a young leader that needs to grow and change. And the faster I grow and change, the more impact I'm going to have earlier in my life.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I think it's a great spot for us to kind of land the plane. You've said some amazing things about looking inward. I love what you said about young leaders. It may be countercultural in this season to say work hard.
Yeah.
But when you over-deliver, there's influence that is gained.
Amen.
You show up on time, there's influence that is gained. There's trust that is built.
That's right.
And there's walls that are broken down.
Yeah.
And I think across the board, as we do intergenerational church, that's what really needs to happen is we need to be thoughtful about breaking the walls down up and breaking the walls down.
Yeah.
And so if you're a board member or if you're a lead pastor, there's things to consider for the future. There's also things to consider that maybe pride has created an enemy out of people who don't need to be an enemy, and fear has created monsters that aren't actually there.
Amen.
And if you're a young leader, there's actually people who really want to invest in you, but you got to show up to where they're at.
Amen.
So Dan, thanks so much, man, for this time. It's just been so helpful, and I
got
hope
it.
some young leaders, they grow from this, and some older leaders, they see that there's a way forward in all this. So thanks, Dan.
Amen. You got it. Thanks, man.